Hello, friends, both old and new. I am John St. Baptiste, and this is Music Makes the People Come Together, where we share amazing and eclectic music with amazing and eclectic people, much like yourselves. This is this week's playlist, getting you started off on your Monday morning with some music to listen to all day, if you want to. Now, for quite some time, a number of my subscribers have been asking me to play some socio-political tracks that I like. My caveat here is I enjoy the music that's here. I do not necessarily agree or disagree with any of the socio-political statements that are being made in any of these songs. So take that as you will, but trigger warning, especially in our very divided culture this day and age, some of these tracks might piss some people off. There's no pretty way to put it. That being said, I really want to share this music with you. Also, at the beginning of this playlist and at the end of this playlist, there are clips from a film that are really the only thing here that I will stand behind 100% and say I absolutely believe in and support, and those are just going to be some special surprises for you when you listen to the playlist. Playlist can be found in the comments section down, or right above the comments section down below. And yeah, you can tell me what you think. We're going to get into these tracks. Like I said, I am not making a political statement. I'm making a musical statement. I think these are 12 of the most influential socio-political tracks that have been made, and I'm not going to give an opinion about them one way or the other outside of the music. So you take that as you will. Starting off, we have And Justice for All by Metallica. This is off the album of the same name. And Justice for All came out in 1988. It was the first album with Jason Newsted. This was after the demise of Cliff Burton. God rest his soul. I love this whole album, and I really like this track for a number of reasons. I do understand why a lot of critics say that the bass without Cliff is understated and tuned down very much, so you don't really hear it a lot, but it is a great track and a great album, and it talks about how there is a bit of a divide in how people are treated in our court system. So you can take what you would like from that. Following that, a song that has been used for the past almost 60 years is The Times Are A-Changin' by Bob Dylan. And this came out, released as a single originally, but also on the album of the same name in 1964. And this is a general song about social revolution. It can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, and it's been used in a lot of different ways by a lot of different people. But this is a great live recording of him back in 64, and I hope you really enjoy it. Since I'm avoiding a lot of the topics here, I hope you noticed that for such a long track list, this is actually a pretty short video. Following that, we have Get Up, Stand Up by Bob Marley. This is off the album Burnin'. And interestingly enough, this is the last song that Bob Marley ever played live. Bob Marley contributed so much to music. and there is definitely something you can take away from this. He wrote this after he went to Haiti and saw the conditions that some people were living in. Following that, this one's gonna throw a. I guess I shouldn't make that metaphor. This is Sunday Bloody Sunday by U2. It alludes to Bloody Sunday in 1972 and also Bloody Sunday in 1920 when protesters were killed during their protest. Given my upbringing, I'm just totally not going to even touch this one, but it's an awesome track, and it's very influential as a piece of socio-political music. After that, we have God Save the Queen by the Sex Pistols. Now, this came out in 1977, year I was born, by the way, and it came out right before the Queen of England, Elizabeth's Silver Jubilee. And according to every member of the Sex Pistols, that was not intentional. They just had a statement to make about their views on monarchy and political situations, but the song has changed so many things about music, and you can't make a video and a playlist of socio-political songs that doesn't touch on that. Following that, we have Public Enemy's classic 911 is a Joke. This is off Fear of Black Planet. There are certain communities in the United States where people are ignored when they need help, and this kind of points that out, especially at the time when it came out back in 1990. This was a very common thing in certain areas and neighborhoods, and that's what the song is addressing. So I hope you enjoy listening to it. Following that, we have KMFDM's World War III, which is off of their album World War III, which came out in 2003. This is very critical about some things that were going on politically at the time. I'm not going to speak one way or the other about my feelings on it, but it's an awesome freaking track. Like I said, I'm focusing on the music here, not on the message. You can take the messages the way you want. I do not endorse or defy any of these publicly because it's not my place to tell you what to think. Then we have NWA's Fuck the Police. How can you do something about socio-political issues without bringing this track up? Triple J in Australia was the only channel on the planet that would play this. And they got told to quit playing it, and the entire radio station went on strike. Now, regardless of your views on this song or this track or what's being addressed here, that's pretty badass, because you know what? Australians are pretty fucking badass. I mean, that's what they do. They live in a country full of, like, poisonous shit, and half of it's a desert. So, hey. But, this is off of the album Straight Outta Compton. It was their first album. Came out, if I remember correctly, back in 1987. And, on top of that, this is a song that started a riot at a show in Detroit. So, like I said, this is a touchy issue, but you folks, my subscribers, have asked for me to do a playlist like this, so I'm doing it. And like I said, I'm just going on the musical aspects of it. And honestly, this track has influenced so many other artists. NWA has influenced so many other artists. And yeah. After that, we have the Vietnam Song by Country Joe and the Fish. This was performed live. Actually, that's the recording I put on here at Woodstock back in 1969, the original one, the real one. And, Country Joe and the Fish were very known for their issues with what was going on in the Vietnam War and what was going on. And one of the cool things that I really like about this track is that it doesn't condemn the soldiers, it condemns the government. I think that this may be the only time during this video that you'll hear me totally stand behind a message that one of these songs has, because I don't want to start any flash fighters. But please, if you think that the soldiers who got drafted and went to Vietnam because they thought it was their civic duty were doing a wrong thing, you are a terrible human being and should probably not even subscribe to my channel or not even subscribe to my Oxygen. Going on from that, let's see how many matches I laid here. We have the Dead Kennedys, same part of the world, doing Holiday in Cambodia. This is off of Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables. This is a song about how a lot of Americans, upper middle class, think they have it so hard, and basically the message is, it could be a lot worse, and maybe you should try this out. I guess I just lied, because this is another song I can totally stand behind. Okay. After that, we have Rage Against the Machine doing Darkness. This is a kind of rare track to get a hold of if you want to. The only place I know of to find it is off the soundtrack for The Crow. The original one, the real one, with Brandon Lee, not all of the horrible, horrible, horrible sequels that were made. And even then, the movie, as much as I like it, it was nowhere near as good as the James O'Barr graphic novel. If you get the opportunity to read that, because it's so much more intense. But, tangent. This is a song about the diaspora of people in general, and specifically in Africa. And a lot of it also has not even innuendo, straight up saying that AIDS was a created disease. And I'm not going to give my views on that one. I'll let you make your own thoughts and decisions. Definitely something worth researching. Actually, all of these songs are worth doing your own research on and making your own decisions with your own thoughts and your own opinions about. But, this is pretty dark, and that's why I'm going to end this with something a little bit lighter with a disclaimer. There's your asterisk. That's my sign language for asterisk. I don't know the ASL for asterisk. I'm sorry. This Land Is Your Land by Woody Guthrie. Came out in 1944. No, I'm sorry, 1945. Is a single. There's no specific album it was on. I do love the fact that he put in the liner notes This is copywritten. I don't care what you do with it. Go ahead and play it. I think that's awesome. Very Woody Guthrie thing to do. But this is saying that all of us have a right to live in this world. All of us have a right to live on this planet. But on the same note, please research this. The original lyrics were a little bit different. And if you're interested, you should totally check that out. You can find it on a lot of websites, even Wikipedia, things like that. But a certain line was slightly different. And yeah. So then we follow that with my other little bonus. Like I said, I had a little intro bonus and I had a little outro bonus. And these aren't songs. They're just things that I totally stand behind and absolutely believe in. And some of you might call me a psychopath after watching said things, but hey, you know, I've been called worse. And yeah, just enjoy this playlist. This was a hard one for me to put together, and this was a really hard video for me to shoot because I really don't like pushing people's buttons. But, like I said, I want to put out what I felt were the most influential socio-political songs. Not necessarily the ones that I think, not necessarily what I believe in. You are all individual human beings, and you can make up your own bloody minds about what you think and what you feel, and you don't need somebody else to justify it for you. So we'll leave it at that. But first, I do have to shout out a new content creator who is doing some awesome stuff, and this is the perfect time of year for it. His name is Bubba Lugosi. He does spoof horror content. Anyone from the States who's old enough who remembers the Cool Ghoul or Elvira, kind of trying to bring that back. There are actually a lot of creators doing this, but this guy I really, really like. Check out his stuff. The link's in the description down below. You probably should look up some of his social media because he doesn't put a whole lot out on YouTube. He puts a lot more out on like Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, but definitely check him out. Also, we have coming up, speaking of Halloween night, I will be doing a premiere of my reading of The Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. And I'm going to put it up early enough that A, my friends overseas are still awake, and B, that those of us here in the States have not had to go take the kids trick-or-treating or passed out candy or whatever. So I hope you enjoy that. It's going to be a premiere. I'll be in the chat with you, and we'll be able to talk about that, which I'm excited about. And this coming Wednesday on Believe, we're taking a break from Neil Gaiman. We're going to be talking about Kevin Smith's classic film, Dogma. So, I hope you check all that out. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy this playlist. Please, if you do, like, share, subscribe. If you subscribe, hit that notification bell because YouTube, once isn't enough. You got to tell them twice. I'm going to go ahead and let you all go. In the meantime, please, my friends, PLUR, be excellent to one another and party on.